How frightened fanatical Vietnamese workers created the world's last new manufacturing hub. What creates a society of hard workers or fanatical workers is a high level of focus, often sustained over long periods, combined with a sense of urgency that drives people to work quickly. Societies in Vietnam, China, Korea, and Japan achieve this intense focus and urgency through their languages, which are embedded with what could be described as evolutionary alarm sounds in nearly every syllable.
Cái túi lớn.
Piao. Part of the word piao is yao, and that is the distress or alarm sound. Yao, yao, yao. These linguistic features keep societies in a state of heightened alertness or mild fright. This behavior, when observed in manufacturing settings, make the Vietnamese appear as fanatical workers. The first appearance of a society with fanatical work ethic in international trade was the appearance of the Japanese.
A fanatical work ethic created the thriving car and consumer electronics industries, which helped turn post-war Japan into the second biggest economy in the world.
Japan has some of the longest working hours in the world. Nearly a quarter of Japanese companies have their employees work more than 80 hours of overtime per month. Those extra hours are often unpaid.
Then there was the emergence of other fanatical working societies. These included the Taiwanese Chinese and Hong Kong Chinese, the Koreans.
Almost 1 in 5 South Koreans worked over 50 hours a week in 2021, according to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. It is customary to work long hours into the night.
And later the Chinese, beginning in the economic zones in Guangdong province.
996 refers to working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. That's 72 hours of work every week. But in reality, the hours often extend far beyond this, with some workers pulling all-nighters just to meet deadlines.
Finally, we have the arrival of Vietnam in international manufacturing, where it had outcompeted many developing countries to become the last new manufacturing hub.
Sau một ngày làm việc em cảm thấy cũng mệt đấy chứ chị. Vì chạy đi chạy vội á.
India, with its vast workforce and growing economy, was once poised to be the factory of the world. But why, then, are global giants rushing to Vietnam instead?
Initially, it started with apparel giants like Nike and Adidas. Apple's biggest suppliers, like Foxconn and Pegatron, are constructing large factories in Vietnam. Other big names such as Dell, HP, Google and Microsoft are also relocating parts of their production from China to Vietnam.
Samsung Electronics and Samsung Electromechanics have collectively invested billions of dollars in Vietnam.
In the year 2000, around 35% of Indian youth were unemployed. By 2022, the number almost doubled. The ILO says about 65% of the youth in India are jobless. Economists celebrate India's demographic advantage. So why can't India capitalize on this youth? Why haven't we been able to create enough opportunities?
In 2003, a groundbreaking book on the theory of evolutionary alarm sounds within languages suggested that among all the undeveloped nations, Vietnam would be the exception. The theory postulated that Vietnam's language uniquely fosters a high level of focus and an acute sense of urgency within its population. Now, more than 20 years later, the evidence seemed to support this linguistic theory, as Vietnam has indeed made significant strides in development, while many other countries have not progressed as anticipated. In fact, even by 2040s or by the end of the century, we are unlikely to see new manufacturing hubs emerging in the Middle East, the Indian subcontinent, Africa, or South America. The reason for this is simple. These societies are generally too relaxed, lacking the necessary sustained or continuous focus and sense of urgency essential for efficient manufacturing. If you would like to investigate this idea a little bit more closely, please check one of my book versions on the topic. Evolutionary Alarm Sounds Within Languages is the first version, Frighten the World into Prosperity is the second version, Motivate Poor Countries to Develop is the third version.